Well, I come to the farmers market because it's a great place to get local produce.
I like farmers markets because I think the produce tastes better than in a grocery store.
It's great. It's outdoors, it's real, it's fresh, it's alive.
It seems to last long.
And they're selling a good product at a fair price.
She sells organic meats and eggs. The milk.
The freshest in town.
Buying your things local, I think, is just so wonderful.
I figure, why not go to the source?
Yeah, I also like to talk to the people and see what they have to say.
And they're always willing to answer any questions that you have.
It's a nice place to be on Saturday morning.
I can plan my menus, my family can come here, it can be fun for everybody.
I love coming to the market. I love meeting my customers and talking to them.
We enjoy giving them fresh produce and pleasing the customer.
Every year I try new and exciting and flavorful varieties.
I have to believe in what I've got. I have to eat it myself and know that it's best quality.
Once they taste that, they're like, wow.
My father taught me when I was a very young person on the market, you can't live on one-time customers, you must have repeat business. And that's what we strive to do.
Once they find out what kind of a product you have and they find out what your reputation is, they will come back to you.
This wound up being our sole source of income now for the last 15 years.
I like to grow things. I like to see at the beginning of the year, I have a little package of seeds, and at the end of the year, I have a big crop.
Consistency is the key at a farmer's market. A lot of things like carrots, beets, cilantro, all that is on a 2-week sowing schedule. And that way we always have a nice steady supply of fresh young plants that are just perfectly scrumptious coming on. We don't let anything get overly large or tough. If we have an item reliably, that's the key. People don't like to wonder if I'm going to have lettuce this week, should they buy it while they're at the grocery store? If they can at least be reasonably confident that I'll have it, they'll wait for me and go to the farmer's market to get it. The best tool we have is just last year's calendar, and we write down every sowing that we do on that calendar, and we just keep them from year to year. We try and stay very consistent. Everything is very tightly scheduled. The succession sowings for a market gardener are the most important thing to learn. Picking day, we're usually in the field by 6:15 at the latest. We do a fair amount of salad mix, and that goes first because lettuce needs to be harvested in the early morning when it's still cool out before the sap's risen into the leaves of the plant. So lettuce is our first priority to get out of the field while it's still very nice, cool, and crisp. The sturdier root vegetables, such as your onions, garlic, the scallions, would be the second priority to harvest because we can pick them and wash them and they'll hold until the next morning. The heat of the day, we're picking things such as the cucumbers, the squash, very sturdy things that don't mind being picked in the heat of the day. Towards evening, we pick the more fragile stuff, green bunch carrots, your beets, things like that. So we'll pick them as things start to cool down again, and then they get put right in very cold water and bunched and packed in the cooler. Whatever we can load on the truck the night before, such as the canopy, the tables, anything like that, that gets packed the night before. The next morning, it's again a very early morning. We get going 5:30 at the door by 5:45 or so. We have a relatively small walk-in cooler that we built this year. It's 4 inches of insulation and it stays very cool in there. Stuff seems to be coming out in really nice shape. Our truck, it's always packed the same exact order. Part of it's for the load stability, but also for the way that it comes off and is put out on the stand is always in the same order. We have our official checklist. And no matter how late you're running is to go over it. It only takes 2 seconds and make sure all the items are actually packed and not just that you have seen them recently. We got to be out of the driveway by 8:30. Our market starts at 9. It's a record. We're very fast at it.
I usually have a list on my computer of all the stuff I'm going to take.
The most important things to us are to have your scale, a good supply of bags,
Hat baskets, bushels, half bushels.
Some kind of nice thing to put on your countertop.
All of our promotional materials.
Business cards.
A big tarp.
You have to have umbrellas and tents and lunch.
a jug of drinking water.
I still forget one thing at least.
Sometimes I'll bring recipes. I never go anywhere where I can't plug in, so my freezers are right here on the truck. You need a good cash box.
We figure on having a couple of $100 in small bills.
It's good to have a cell phone in case you need to call for more supplies.
I produce with my husband hard cider. We sell hard cider. We make it from local apples.
We run a small dairy farm. We manage about 40 acres and we milk 10 cows right now.
We raise peaches, nectarines, pears, apples.
Pasture-raised beef, pork, lamb, veal, chicken, turkey, and brown eggs.
And I look and see what people are growing that I'm not growing, and what people are buying that I'm not carrying.
What I like to grow, what grows well in my soil, and what sells.
I think we're the only ones with peaches today. So we are featuring peaches.
Well, when we first got into the business, we grew a little bit of everything. And of course, some things sold very well, and other things didn't sell at all.
Some crops are definitely more profitable than others, but the mix itself can be profitable as well.
Every situation is unique, and I see plenty of successful people having single crops.
You come in and there's 50 vendors selling tomatoes, and your first inclination, I don't care if you've been here 1 year or 10 years, is how am I going to sell a tomato today? And they sell.
If you have really desirable things, almost every person that comes here buys something from us.
Thank you.
I think an attractive display is a real draw to people.
Farmers markets, your presentation is extremely important because everybody else is here.
We want it very warm and inviting.
People make really quick impulse decisions a lot of times when they're buying. Something that looks outstanding to them is what they're gonna grab.
It's sales. Creating an attractive, appealing display brings people in, even if they don't know what it is. If it looks nice, they'll come over and look.
So your display needs to be colorful and big and bold and mix the colors so that it stands out.
Presentation does make a big difference. Does it look like there's a variety?
I think all of the stands are arranged in a very particular fashion. I look for quality, freshness.
Clean and attractive, that's what I'm looking for.
The things are really clearly marked, especially with what's available and what the prices are, and it looks like there's an abundance that just draws you right in.
Well, I guess if they have a bigger variety of things, I'd be more apt to go to that person than somebody who's just got a little tiny table with a few things on it.
I think what's not appealing to people is to see one or two of each item sort of scattered across a booth.
I always make sure that I have more than 2 or 3 of something because people never buy the last 2 or 3 of anything.
The bountiful display sells better.
Pile it high and watch it fly principle.
If you want to grow beets, well, grow an awful lot of beets and stack them up high. You may only have beets, but you're going to look like you know what you're doing.
If you have a whole table of whatever you're selling, it's an eye catcher.
We try and avoid putting things at ground level. People don't like to bend over. The height and the depth of your table is important. We like to put it on a slant top. It makes a nice display, having a slight tilt. We have a second table that is a flat top table that's a step lower than our main table. So visually it makes a nice step effect.
We want the signs to look attractive. We want the signs to be eye appealing. We want it to catch their eye.
We also bring signs to let people know about our cows, that we're farmers, make that farm to consumer connection. Information about how we farm on our signs.
Photos, like for us doing the beef, we have pictures of the animals or the farm.
Like this is a kind of apple that we have later in the season. It's one of the antiques. And this is a Monet painting that features this apple. So when that apple is there, I like to put it up.
Pricing, I found that definitely you've got to have a visible price on the product because a lot of people won't ask.
We've always done that, and I just feel it leads to better communication. People feel like you're being fair and charging the same price to everyone.
You can quart it up or pint it up, display it, but if you forget to put the price on it, people don't buy it.
Having signs up as to what the costs are. Some people don't have signs up for the costs. I tend not to buy there. I like to know and be able to compare prices.
Learning how to price things, I thought, was the most difficult part of becoming a market gardener.
Pricing is really tricky, and I've struggled with it a lot.
That's not a thought process that happens early in the season and you forget about it.
Well, we have to be competitive.
I encourage people to not let other people tell you what you need to charge.
It's looking in the mirror and deciding what am I going to do today to make myself profitable.
And I take a look at what my costs are.
And I also think about how much labor went into the product that I'm selling and what the demand is.
A couple of weeks ago, there were very few potatoes in the market. That dictated a certain price level. Today, there are more and more. 2 weeks from now, there'll be even more.
More than the grower across the aisle, the supermarket is the real competition.
Your product is fresher, it's locally grown, it's better.
People are willing to pay a premium for what you have at a farmer's market because it's generally picked the day before.
Don't sell it too cheap because people will think something's wrong with it.
But you have to be careful because you don't want to turn customers away by pricing too high.
The point is to sell it, not to take it home again because you've overpriced it.
I don't like to gouge anybody.
People get a good deal.
Everything that's frozen, right? Today I've got fresh chicken, broilers, and stewed chicken.
Customers always like fresh products, and that's always a challenge, having fresh products and maintaining high quality. So most of my products are flash frozen to maintain the quality.
If it gets up into the 80s or 90s, we'll bring burlap, and that goes underneath the produce, and then on top of the burlap goes ice.
Without the sunshade, you know, the produce spoils faster.
I use old refrigerator pans because that ceramic stuff holds the cool of the temperature.
I only put out, say, 25 to 30 heads at a time, so I'm constantly restocking.
You can see that when I sell the greens, I've got actually used a hole saw. I made holes in these containers, and you know, they're in water, so they're as fresh as possible.
We try to just get things cooled down just as quick as possible and keep them that way. We constantly are irrigating things throughout the day. We do put our greens and lettuce in water. It does two things. I think it keeps the greens looking their best, and I think secondly, it conveys to the consumer that we really care about the product and how we deliver that product.
You want to just keep it always looking fresh and nice.
You want to carry it for her? Thank you.
The Boynes are more of a sweet tart raspberry. A little bit of tartness to it.
Sweet tart. Let me try a Boyne then.
All right. Taste different.
This is what it looks like inside, and boy, are they sweet. You're gonna love them.
Oh, good. Can you put them in the bag?
You got it.
Hi.
Hi. I'm just looking. Are these are local?
Oh, everything at this market is local. It has to be.
Most of the farmers are very friendly and love to talk, and I'm a gardener, and so we kind of speak the same language. So I just love that, and you build kind of like a personal relationship.
Friendliness is such a huge thing.
There's certain people that you go to because they're very nice when they sell you something.
I think the customer service aspect, knowing people, working really hard to recognize faces.
Part of it is the relationship that develops over time.
It's a lot of fun to see some of the vendors are real enthusiastic and some are a little grumpy, and I stay away from them.
If you ask a question, they're too busy to answer you, then I go to the next vendor.
The farmer themselves really looks unkempt, and then you might worry about what they may be telling you.
I have been places where they like stare at you walking up, kind of stare at you as you're looking at the stuff and stare at you walking away. It makes me feel uncomfortable.
He was pushing produce on me, which I didn't like. That was definitely a turn-off. I didn't go back to him.
The sort of like, come in and buy my stuff right now, really off-putting.
Hawking your product is really a no-no.
Hey, how you doing? You want to try these vegetables? These are really good. They're cheap. You're really going to enjoy them. Come on. Yeah, can I help you, lady?
One of these cucumbers.
Hello.
Hey, Dan.
Dennis,
How you doing, bud? Good to see you.
Thank you. Yeah.
How was your trip?
It was excellent. I just got back about a week ago. It was a great time.
How was the weather down there?
It was really hot.
Oh, God.
Do you have air conditioning?
It's hard to get help anymore, you know, Congress and all this information stuff, and it won't let you buy it. What is this? Well, I think it's a turnip.
Did you eat it raw? Or
I've never really tried one. I don't know.
have any kind of recipe?
No, you know, I just don't eat a lot of vegetables. I'm kind of a meat and potato guy. Hey Dan, how you doing? Well, what is she gonna do, you know? Hey, help yourself there, lady.
Yeah, thank you.
She's gambling, yes, but she's winning, you know, she's winning.
These look really great. Can I?
You can put them right in the bag here.
Can I keep the container?
No, I need to keep the container, you know. It's trying to keep costs down, they're expensive.
I wish it could be year-round. I wish they could grow year-round because I miss it during the winter.
Making you want to come back. When you leave that vendor and you have that beautiful flower and you know that they're going to help you the next time you come, it just makes you want to go back.
They will come back to you over and over if they feel that they've been well treated. And over the years, it accumulates.
Customer relations and just being able to interact with the farmer is one of the things that people really value about a farmer's market.
In any way that we can please them, we're happy to do it.
Always be courteous to your customers and always say thank you.
We want to be as helpful as we possibly can to the consumer, give them good advice, tell them how to care for the product once they get it home.
You have to build trust with your clients.
I really like dealing directly with looking them in the eye.
Treating people the way you want to be treated. You never disrespect anybody.
I think just listening, and I mean listening not only with your ears, but with your eyes, with all of your senses to how people are reacting.
Accountability. And that's what I think most of these people come for, is the sense that there is face-to-face accountability.
Customers absolutely love to talk to the people who make what they're buying. It's a very unique experience.
Bonds with food, are a good thing.
It's a very intimate connection. I mean, you're providing them with food for their table, and when they can identify you as the source of that food, they feel very connected to you.